So, good afternoon to all of you. In the previous lecture, we have talked about the degrees of freedom. Today, in this lecture as well, we are going to recapitulate what we have discussed in the last class. So, we talked about a triangle, and let's say it is being subjected to forces. Let the forces are let the forces be of this, let's say some moments are there acting on it. Let's say this is force F1, F2, this is the moment M1, like that. So as such, if it is in a planar motion, you are going to get three possible motions. Okay. Now, in order to restrain these three possible motion, what as a reaction you are going to give is, let's say this is reaction R1, reaction R2 and reaction R3. So their values are going to change as you are going to load this body. Okay. So F1, F2, F3, F4, like that. There are n number of forces which is going to act. F3 and dot. So these three constant forces are good enough to resist it. If the constant forces are not there, then these forces and the moment is going to decide what is going to happen to the body. I mean, what is going to be the dynamic motion. Now I am going to take the similar way. Let's say this rectangle one, and keep in mind that these three reaction forces, as it is a planar body, so these three reaction forces are not going to change. I mean R1, R2 and R3. So they are going to be their magnitude is going to change depending on the loading, but as such these three are not going to change. So let's say you are going to give F1 arbitrary, F2, F3, so on, F4, and certain moments M1, M2, like that. So what is going to happen is that as if you remove these three constant forces, the degrees of freedom is 4. So as such, what is going to happen is that it is going to collapse. This is going to collapse, and that is what we discussed in our previous class, is that why the triangular structure is the basic structure of your truss or any structural member. Now we will be coming to the deformable body. So far the recapitulation is done. Deformable body. So for deformable body, so this part is the rigid body part we are keeping in mind. For deformable body, we discussed that there are infinitely many points are there. So if you are going to take any deformable body, it is composed of infinitely many points. So you just choose any point, vicinity to it, you are also going to get infinitely many points. Its proof is, so once again the same number system we are going to use. Let's say 0 to 1. You have infinite set of points, but if I am going to choose between 0.5 to 0.6, what you are going to get? 0.6. Let's say this point is 0.5 and this point is 0.6. Infinitely many. So as such, within the infinity, you are going to get another infinity set. So if you are going to take a small part of it, you are going to get infinitely many points. If you are going to take surrounding, choosing a point and surrounding it, you are going to get infinitely many points. Now the thing is that all these are abstract. We don't have any kind of physical example where we can visualize that it is having infinitely many points. Yes, there are. For example, I am going to show you a small video. Think about it. Just a minute. Yeah. So this video is all about just you are heating a pot and you are getting a sound. Think about that. Any part of the pot, the particles are not fixed. They are moving. They are changing their relative orientation. So whenever you are putting a stroke to a particular point, they are orienting. The particles are orienting in a different way. But as soon as you change the position of heating, they are going to change their orientation in a different way. So as such, there could be infinite possibilities through which the particle can rearrange. Okay, and that is what is their independence, unlike the rigid body. Another example you can think about from your class 11 sound chapter. Like for example, you have a cylindrical pot filled with air, and you have drawn the sound wave as like this. Then you think about the same pot, you have drawn the sound wave somewhat like this, and so on. Look over here that in these pots, in these cylindrical pots, the air column, which is composed of n number of particles, you can consider, though it is finite, not infinite, but our assumption is telling that it is infinite. So those particles are reorienting like this. Okay, the longitudinal motions of the air particles are reorienting like this, like this, like this, and so on. So these are the perfect example of considering, or rather to visualizing, the deformable body is having infinite degrees of freedom. Okay, now we will be coming to a very practical example with this. What we discussed in our first lecture, and I asked you the question that how many degrees of freedom does the chair that you are sitting. So now, so on, we'll be considering the rigid body part. So you think about a force system where the forces are parallel. Yeah, is it alright? The force system is parallel, and in between you have kept a body. Now please tell me what the degrees. Of course, it is a rigid body. Of course, it is a rigid body. Now onwards, we'll be just talking about the rigid body, nothing other than that. It is a rigid body. So kindly tell me what is the degrees of freedom of this body is. Yeah, I think are you understanding the problem? The problem is the body is subjected to parallel forces. Okay, example, your gravity is that. So suppose you are standing over here, whatever the force is acting on you is parallel. Like my hand is subjected to vertical force, this point is subjected to have vertical force, my legs are subjected to vertical forces. So all these are vertical forces, and that is what I have drawn. Okay, now this body is subjected to, what do you consider that I am being subjected to this. Then how many degrees of freedom as such this body is going to have? Yeah, you think? How many degrees of freedom that you are going to get? Think a bit. Now let's say if you are going to make this coordinate system is somewhat like this. Let's say this is your x, y and z. Then in what the possible way the motion could be. First, the body is going to translate along x, because x is parallel to all these forces. Let's say these forces are F1, F2, F3 and so on, Fn. So the body is going to translate along x. Okay, the body is going to translate along x and can rotate only about z or y. Is it clear? So what is going to happen is that if this is the vertical axis, I can be translated along the vertical axis, I can be rotated along this or along this. Am I clear? But my rotation along x axis, this vertical axis, is not possible because there is a parallel force system, and there exists two perpendicular translational direction, but there is no force. That is why it cannot translate along y and it cannot translate y along z. So if I am going to be stationary or in static equilibrium, so what I have to do is that degrees of freedom is equal to 3. What I have to write, that summation of forces along x is equal to 0. Summation of moment along y is going to be 0. Summation of moment along z is going to be 0. Now are you understanding? Please try to understand that as my degrees of freedom is equal to 3, so I am essentially going to get 3 equations, not more than that. Not more than that. For simple example, if let's say you are going to consider this very simple structure with these forces, let's say these forces are there, many forces are there, and if you sum by mistake, if you have made these kind of configurations, then over here you are going to get this constant force R1, R2, R3 and R4. But keep in mind your degrees of freedom is equal to 3, DOF is equal to 3. That is not going to change, but your unknowns are 4. So what is going to happen? You cannot get unique solution. That is what is the effect of over constraining it. You are not going to get unique solution. Rather, what you are going to get is that infinite set of solutions. The body is rested, but you don't know what R1, R2, R3, R4 are. And that is what the genesis of using factor of safety in your solid mechanics course. Because we don't know, the loading I know, but what about the reaction that I don't know? Because by mistake you have made it over constant. So this is what is the thing, the uncertainty in calculating the load. And that is why we use factor of safety in order not to encounter certain accidents. Now let us come to this problem. For the parallel force system, the motions we have identified, you have 3 possible motions. Motions along x, translation motion along x, rotation motion about y and rotation motion about z. And rotation motion about x is not possible, translation along y is not possible, translation along z is not possible. Okay? Now think about your chair. So chair will be having 1, 2, 3 and 4. So what you are going to get is what you are going to get is, this is what is U, your M times T, and these are the reaction forces R1, R2, R3, and you have R4. So this is known to you because you are, let's say you are 60 kg weight. So 60 into 10, 600 Newton. And based on your position where you are sitting, your the contact point, based on your contact point, these R1, R2, R3, R4 are going to change. And that is what you are trying to calculate. From which equations? From these three equations. But can you solve it? You can't solve it. You don't get the unique solution. And what is the effect of it? The effect is that if any such leg is pretty small, bit small, then what you are going to get? 3-member support. Are you understanding? You just change. If you change the loading position, you will find that the chair is rocking. Some rocking motion you are going to get. That means at that point, 3 members are getting the touch of the ground, or rather the R4 or any the R4 part is going to be 0, or in this case the R3 is going to be 0. It is going to be R1, R2, R4, and these are the 3 equations. From there you are going to get. Now in some cases you will find that it is diagonally opposite, which is the R1. If you change this position, then R1, R3 is going to get the touch to the ground. So R1 is going to be 0 and it is between R2, R3 and R4. This is called static indeterminacy. Static indeterminacy. This is what is called static indeterminacy. Okay, is it not interesting? So what is the effect? What is the lesson out of this course, out of this lecture? You will find that this mobile phone, actually we are recording this with respect to a mobile phone which is being kept on a stand, and this stand is a 3-legged member. Any camera stand you are going to get 3-legged member. Why? Because you have 3 equations only. Whatever the load is there, that is the gravity, parallel force system. So you have 3 degrees of freedom and you need 3 reaction support for its definite. We want definite. If it is 4, then it is not definite. Some is going to get the touch or some is not. But if it is 3-legged member, then it is definite. So as a result, it is not going to rock. It is not going to make the picture blur. Right? So that is why we prefer, for precision equipment, for precision anything, we always use 3-legged member, not 4-legged member, because we don't want any static indeterminacy. Okay, sure. So if you want to solve these 4 reactions, then you have to take another equation, and that another equation is equal to, in your solid mechanics you have studied, the deflection delta is equal to PL by AE, or rather you are going to calculate F, or in this case RL by AE. That means if this length is shortened, so all these force, all these other 3 members are subjected to certain amount of force, and at the end they are going to make the same amount of length. So as a result, we are going to use RL by AE, another 4th equation we are going to invite, and from there we are going to describe it. Okay. So when you are going to design a chair, please keep in mind you have to keep the factor of safety of amount 2, because at the extreme case 2 members could get the whole load, not the 3. If there is a slight change in the length, I mean some changes in the length, that means the length L1 and L3 are I mean they are not in pair. So you are going to get the whole load is to be shared by R2 and R4. So if you are 60 kg, essentially one member is supposed to take the 30 kg, another 30 kg. So that is why we always take factor of safety of 2. That's the thing is. So with this we are going to conclude our degrees of freedom. Next we will be coming to the part called principle of determinism. Now I am going to ask, is Newton's second law valid for deformable body? Is Newton's second law valid for deformable body? What is your answer? What is your answer? Yeah, it could be yes. The answer could be yes or no. Now I also don't know whether it is yes or no. But when it is talking about the deformable body, let's say this is the deformable body. It has infinitely many points, right? And what Newton's second law is talking about? F is equal to m times a. Now you have infinitely many points and one equation. So is it possible to find out the particle position and velocity? Actually try to understand that your dynamics is all about getting the position and velocity of any point within a body. Okay, so this is what is our objective. Our objective is to get the position and velocity of any body, deformable or rigid, at any instant of time. Right? So we have infinitely many points and one equation. Can you solve? Can you predict that at time, so let's say this is at time t is equal to 0 and I am going to predict at time t is equal to t. So let's say this body has taken somewhat like this. It has deformed, it has moved, translated, rotated. Like for example, you have a football which is a deformable body, you have kicked it. You have kicked the football. So at any instant of time, it has translated, rotated, deformed and taking this position. And it has infinitely many points. So you have only one equation, F is equal to ma, and you have infinitely many points. So can you solve with one equation and you have to predict the position and velocity of infinitely many points. Can you solve this problem? Yeah, I'm just giving you some time to think, just to ignite your thought. Yes, so it is no, right? You cannot. The answer is yes. But how it is possible? Yes, there comes the principle of determinism. So you understand that the deformable body, if I am going to consider a deformable body, this Newton's second law is valid for the whole part of the body, and any part of the body. Any point on the body. So if you are going to consider infinite number of points, so we have infinite set of equations. So it gives you a definite solution. Are you understanding? If you are going to consider a rigid body, if this body is a rigid body, the F is equal to ma is applicable to the whole body as well as any part of the body. Like in your thermodynamics, we talked about the system. So if you are going to consider this as a system, it is valid for this system, any part of the system. And its example is the free body diagram. And its best example is the free body diagram. For in the free body diagram, what you do is that you detach the body. Whenever you are going to detaching the body, a part of the body, you are inviting certain reaction forces or certain other forces which are for forces of interaction. And then you apply the Newton's second law for that body and this part of the body. Okay, so tutorial 0. Is all about that. So please try to understand the principle of determinism is talking about is that Newton's second law is valid for the whole body and any part of the body. And as a result, for the dynamics, we are interested to predict the motion of any point within the body. So whether body could be rigid, body could be deformable, it doesn't matter. Okay? So for any part of the body and whole body, the Newton's second law is valid. So as such, each and every point is deterministic. The motion, the position and the velocity is absolutely deterministic. There is no uncertainty. Okay? So this is the tutorial 0 is all about that. Just to recapitulate, probably you have not thought the free body diagram from this perspective. Okay, so with this we are going to conclude today, and tomorrow we will be having one WebEx class. I think we are going to get the feedback from you that how you are liking this. Based on this, we will be changing our mode. Might be if you are suggest something that something is to be taken care of or anything. Some suggestions we are going to accept. Okay. With this, I am going to conclude. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Or YouTube